Hi children, how are you? This is Sudhir Kumar. Today we are discussing about Ampere circuital law. Okay, this is very important topic in the chapter moving charges and magnetism. It is a little bit difficult for the students. Some students feel difficult, but I'll try to explain more elaborately so that the concept of this law is more clear to you. In order to understand about Ampere circuital law, if you have a little bit comparison with the electrostatics, it is easy to understand because already electrostatics might have done. Because in electricity, after doing electrostatics only, you will come to current electricity and then you will come to moving charges and magnetism, right? Fine. Now, when a charge is at rest, it is producing electric field in surrounding it. The strength of the electric field is determined by 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into q by r square. You'll understand the strength of the electric field with the help of Coulomb's law. So the basic concept of electric field is explained with the help of Coulomb's law. Similarly, if you come to moving charges and magnetism, you have a current carrying wire that will be producing magnetic field around the current carrying wire. Here the charge is at rest, here the charge will be moving. A moving charge will constitute a current. A current carrying wire will produce magnetic field. Okay, and the magnetic field around a current carrying conductor is explained with the help of Biot-Savart law. This gives a relation between magnetic field and current. The current and magnetic field. Charge at rest, electric field. Current carrying conductor and magnetic field. Relation between charge and strength of the field. Relation between current and strength of the magnetic field. So here this is basic law which will explain or which we can find out the magnetic field due to current carrying conductor. We have already applied this law and we have derived so many formulas also in previous two lectures. You can just go through that. Magnetic field due to circular conductor, magnetic field due to a straight infinite long conductor when current is flowing. If this current carrying wire is bent in the form of triangle, if it is bent in the form of rectangle, and we have determined the magnetic fields due to that various current carrying conductors of different shapes. So if this is a basic law here this is a basic law to explain about the strength of the field, to explain about the strength of the magnetic field. Now apart from this, if you come to here, electrostatics, you have also introduced Gauss law. Do you remember Gauss law? So Gauss law helps us to determine the strength of the electric field only. But in which case it will be helping you? The case in which you are unable to apply Coulomb's law and determine the strength of the electric field, in that cases we apply Gauss law and we determine the electric field. Especially if the charge is distributed, then we use Gauss law, isn't it? Yeah. Charge distributed on a wire. What is the electric field? You have used Gauss law and determine the strength of the field as lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught r. If a charge is distributed on sphere, if a charge is distributed on a thick wire, hollow wire, solid wire. So when charge is distributed, the alternate method to understand and determine the electric field is we are using Gauss law. Similarly, another alternate method to determine magnetic field due to current carrying wire, where we cannot apply Biot-Savart law, an alternate method to determine the magnetic field due to the current carrying wires in some different situations or complicated situations, and that is nothing but Ampere circuital law. Ampere circuital law is nothing but an alternate method of determining magnetic field due to the current carrying conductors. Now let us see, let us come to this Ampere circuit. So to discuss that, if you have just an idea of Gauss law, then we can go to Ampere circuit law there. Here Gauss law, there Ampere circuit law. So what does the Gauss law says? Suppose if you are having two charges, plus Q1, say minus Q2, then I will take one closed surface. This is surface, okay? Then I will consider some elemental area here. Elemental area. This elemental area you have dA bar. I will take one charge outside this also, Q3, to just understand. Then, do you know the charges at rest produce electric field? So here also there are so many charges. They must be producing electric field in this region. So let the electric field here is E. Let the electric field here is E. Then what did you write? Integral E dot dA is equal to 1 by epsilon times the charge inside. So this is the electric field due to these three charges. Resultant electric field due to these three charges. But when you are writing formula, you will write charges only inside. So charges inside means plus Q1 and minus Q2. That means here you will write Q1 minus Q2. So this is Gauss law. Anyhow, integral E bar dot dA bar will give you the flux also here. So now coming to Ampere circuit law, a similar manner. What will you do? Here in the place of charge you have taken current carrying wire. You are determining electric field, you are determining magnetic field. So I have taken 2-3 charges. I will take 2-3 current carrying conductors now. And I will talk about magnetic field. So let us see. Now suppose I will take current carrying conductor here, an infinite long current carrying conductor. Let us say you have a current carrying conductor here. The current is going inward, an infinitely long wire. So another current carrying conductor I will take. Current is coming outward here, infinite long wire. Okay, I will take one more also. Let the current here is I1, let the current here is I2. I will take one more current carrying conductor here, infinite long current carrying conductor whose current is I3. Of course, current is coming outward. Here current is going inward. They are infinite long wires, right? If these charges are producing electric field, resultant electric field here, these three current carrying conductors, they produce magnetic field in this region. So I will I will take few at some point. Say for example, there is one point here. The resultant magnetic field, at this point, due to these three conductors, let it be say B1. This is B1 bar. Do you find magnetic field only here, or it is distributed everywhere? If you have a charge, electric field is distributed around it. At a particular point you are determining. Similarly, you have three charges. There is electric field prevailed everywhere. At some point you are considering the resultant electric field. Similarly, the magnetic field is prevailed here. So magnetic field produced everywhere. So here the magnetic field is B1. Let us say here the magnetic field is B2. I'll take few more cases. Let the magnetic field here is B3. Somewhere here I'll take magnetic field as B4. Somewhere I'll take here magnetic field as B5, or I'll take B here, okay? No reason, just like that. So this is a magnetic field, resultant magnetic field due to these three current carrying wires. And at this point, this is a resultant magnetic field due to these three current carrying wires. Similarly, here and here. Here also you can consider one point here, one point here, one point here, like that. Now I'll join this line. I join a line here. Okay. So to understand Biot-Savart law, to understand Ampere circuit law, so we are preparing base here. Understand? So I will join a curve. So let me join a curve. So this is a curve which is joining the points where the magnetic fields are B1, B2, B3, B4, etc. So now let us talk about Ampere circuit law. What will be the statement? A similar statement like this I have to give you. But before going to that, let me discuss here. See, you are having a negative charge here, a positive charge here, again positive charge here. Then what is the meaning of here positive and negative currents? So I will do one thing. Now let us say I have taken a magnetic field like this, isn't it? Tangential everywhere. So if this is the direction of magnetic field and this will be the direction of current, am I right? See, for example, here we will take. So this is the direction of magnetic field. So this is the direction of current inward. For example, here is the direction of magnetic field and this will be the direction of current inward. So based on this, I will take this current as positive and this current as negative. So inward current I am taking positive and outward current I am taking negative. So I will put a negative sign here also because this is also outward current. See, this question of plus minus will come only when you have conductors like this. If you have only single conductor, then you will take only just plus sign only, you won't take minus sign. If say all the three conductors current is coming outward, then don't put negative sign, don't take positive only. If all the three conductors currents are going inward, so take all three currents positive only. So if the currents that are flowing in these wires all are outward, take I1, I2, I3 positive. If all the currents are inward, take I1, I2, I3 as positive. In both cases positive only. If only one current carrying conductor is there, take current positive. But when you have two current carrying conductors, currents in opposite direction. If the currents are in opposite direction, then you have to give a plus and minus. If inward current is positive, outward current is negative. I have followed some rule, I told you. And this is only a convention. This plus minus is only convention. I can take this plus and that minus. I can reverse the direction also. Nothing to worry about that. Fine. Now I'll define one quantity here, similar to this quantity. So what I define here is B bar dot DL bar. I'll define. What is this B bar dot DL bar? At one point, let us discuss. See, here is a DL bar like this. This is DL bar. I can take DL bar everywhere. Here also DL bar is there. This is the direction. I told already I gave one direction here. In that direction only DL bar will be taken. So here is one DL bar. Here is also one DL bar. Here is also there one DL bar. Everywhere I can take DL bar. Wherever you determine magnetic field, there I'll take DL bar. The dot product of B and DL is this. You know, if you expand, you will get magnitude of B into magnitude of DL into cos theta. Or else I can also write B cos theta into DL also I can write. Suppose if I take here, this is B, this will be B cos theta. So the component of the magnetic field along DL is B cos theta into DL. That is what I am defining here. So consider dot product of magnetic field and DL here. Next, I put here integration. Okay, integration here, integration here. As I have E dot dA integral, B dot DL integral. And this is called closed integral. over the curve. So what is the meaning of this quantity? If you understand meaning of this quantity, then I can come to the statement of Ampere's circuit law. Okay. What is the meaning of this quantity? Just brief it once again. I have taken 3 current carrying conductors. One current, this is a current carrying inward, infinite wire. This is a wire current carrying outward. This is a current carrying outward. So these 3 conductors, they produce a magnetic field in this vicinity. And this B1, B2, B3 are the resultant magnetic fields at various points. I have joined a curve. Curve means you can imagine, you are passing one thread here, thread. Understand? Like that you can understand. And then I have taken DL bars. I have given signs. I have followed some convention and I have given plus and minus also. Now I am writing a quantity called B bar dot DL and putting integration over the curve. So what is this called? In your integration means summation. So what I have to do is this B dot DL here, B dot DL here, B bar dot DL, 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 B bar dot DL. On this curve, summing up of all these B bar dot DL quantities is called integration over the closed curve. So this is a summing up of all these B dot DLs. Integration means. So that is this quantity. Some name is given to this quantity, the closed integral B bar dot DL. This closed means over a closed curve, the integration is done. So there is a name given here. You know what is that name? The circulation of magnetic field over the curve. See, this is B1, B2, B3, B4, B5, B6, B7, B8, etc. You put integral. So circulation of magnetic field over the curve. So this is the circulation of magnetic field over the curve. That is a name given to that. And now I'll come to the statement of Ampere's law. So if this is equal to, this quantity is equal to mu naught times the current inside. What is the current inside? Plus I1. I need not give sign here, no problem. And minus I2. That is the current inside. What is the charge inside? Q1 minus Q2. So this is the statement of Ampere's circuit law. I will read the statement now. Just compare this, then I'll read. So here you have taken charges. Here you have taken current carrying conductors. Here electric field. Here magnetic field. And this is a surface. This is a surface. This is a surface. But this is a curve. This is a curve. If I consider one point, let the electric field is E there and let the magnetic field is B here. Let the elemental area is dA bar. Let the length of the element is dl bar. I hope you find the difference now. Yes. Here you are taking curve. Here you are taking surface area. So integral B dot dl is mu naught times the current inside. And integral E dot dA bars is equal to 1 by epsilon times the charge inside. Because you are talking about electric field, you have 1 by epsilon naught. Because I am talking about magnetic field, I have mu naught. Because the charges are producing this electric field, therefore the charges are taken. But one important point, this is electric field, resultant electric field due to all the 3 charges. But when you are writing equation, you will take only charges inside. That is a controversy here. Similarly here also. This is suppose this point I am considering, okay, this and this. This is a magnetic field due to all the 3 current carrying wires, resultant field. But when you write the equation, you will take only currents inside. You will not consider that. So same controversy here also. So that is B dot dl, then E dot dA. So surface area, dA is a surface elemental area. dl is an length. So it is a thread. So this is a called Ampere's circuital law. So how will you read this? Reading this itself is nothing but Ampere's circuital law. Reading this itself is a Ampere's circuital law. So what should I do? So you have to understand this basic before only, because there are current carrying conductors, they are producing magnetic field, and let the magnetic field at one particular point is B bar, and let the element is dl here, then integral B dot dl is mu naught times I, the currents inside. So the closed integral over the curve B dot dl is equal to mu naught times current. Or else you read like this. The circulation of magnetic field over the curve. The circulation of magnetic field over the curve is equal to mu naught times the current inside. That is known as Ampere's circuital law. Now you can write this Ampere's circuital law. Okay, we can in another form also we can understand this Ampere's circuital law. How means? What is B? What is E? Do you remember the definition of strength of the electric field? Suppose you are having a charge here. Suppose you are determining electric field here as E. You are determining. What is the definition? So wherever you are determining the electric field strength, there you are keeping 1 Coulomb charge, which is known as unit positive charge. The force acting on unit positive charge is defined as the intensity of electric field at that particular point. Then what is this B? Suppose in the place of positive charge, I am taking a north pole. The strength of the north pole is M. The pole strength is measured in ampere meter. Okay. Now at a distance r, I define what is known as magnetic field strength. You know what it is? So you will be taking a unit north pole here. That is 1 ampere meter. So force acting on the unit north pole, force acting on unit north pole at a particular point in a magnetic field is defined as the strength of the magnetic field. So what is this B now? Force acting on unit north pole. Like this, same way. Force acting on unit positive charge is known as the strength of electric field. Force acting on unit north pole is called strength of the magnetic field. So basic definition of B is force acting on unit north pole. So this is a force acting on unit north pole. Suppose if I take a unit north pole here, whose strength is 1 ampere meter, and force acting on that unit north pole is B, and into dl, this is dl bar. Tell me, what is work done? Work done is dot product of force and displacement. So here also this is a dot product of force and displacement. What force? Force acting on unit north pole. That is the definition of B. So what is this integral B dot dl then? So if B bar dot dl is taken as F bar dot dl, why means because B is defined as a force acting on the unit north pole. Then F bar dot dl is nothing but a dw work done, and integral of that is the total work done. Now I can tell you one more statement now. This B dot dl bar in taken integration is nothing but work done in moving a unit north pole along this curve. What is this? The work done in moving a unit north pole along this curve is also known as integral B dot dl. So now when you write a statement, so I can write the statement in two ways. One is the circulation of magnetic field. Circulation of magnetic field strength over a curve is nothing but integral, the closed integral B bar dot dl. That is how you have to read this. Or else, the work done in moving unit north pole along the curve is nothing but integral b bar dot dl. Why? Because this is a force acting on unit north pole. Into displacement is dw. Integral dw is total work done in moving around it. So this LHS quantity can be read like this. So that is equal to mu naught times the current inside is a statement of Ampere circuit law. So you will take a curve here. In Gauss law, you will take a surface area because charges are enclosed by a surface. Here current carrying conductors are enclosed by a curve. That is the difference. So that is a statement of Ampere circuit law. So let us go in little bit more elaborate of this Ampere circuit law. See, when you are applying Gauss law, most of the time you will take only one charge. A charge is distributed on a wire Q. What is electric field? Using Gauss law, you will derive a formula. A charge is distributed on a surface. There is only one charge distributed on the surface. What is the electric field? We will apply Gauss law. So here also we will not take so many currents. We will take more simpler form of this Ampere circuit law. So let us see what it is. So this Ampere circuit law is more easily applicable, more suitable to apply if it is more symmetry. I don't want so many variables here. There are so many variables if you understand. See, the magnetic field is varying both in magnitude and direction. dl bar is also varying in direction. And integral over that is an integral over the variables. Am I right? So in order to make it simple, we will take only one current carrying conductor. And I'll make these magnetic fields equal in magnitude. That means I will not take a curve like this. I will take a circular curve. If I take a circular curve, I will have a magnetic field magnitude constant. So I'll make B constant, right? And make this curve symmetric so that this Ampere circuit law will be more easily applicable. So there is one question: what are the conditions, or what is the most suitable conditions in order to apply Ampere circuit law? Means you have to say, you have to take a magnetic field constant in magnitude, and this curve is also a symmetric curve you have to take. Understand? So in that case, this Ampere circuit law, and current carrying conductors also, you take one current carrying conductor. So in that simple manner, the more symmetric manner, and this Ampere circuit law is suitable to apply. So it can be applicable, okay, when B is constant in magnitude. And this is tangential. B is tangential, and a symmetric curve is taken. So all these points will increase the symmetry. The degree of symmetry is increased. When degree of symmetry is increased, Ampere circuit law is more useful. See, you are taking Ampere circuit law as an alternate method to determine magnetic field. Alternate method means it must be easy to apply, not in complicated form. Understand? And another condition to apply the magnetic field is now this dl bar and b bar must be in same direction. So that means theta must be 0. So then this Ampere circuit law becomes more simple to apply. And dl bar, this b bar and dl bar can be perpendicular to each other. Even then it is very simple to apply. Because if these two are perpendicular, b into dl into cos 90, so this becomes 0. So it's very easy. And it is also more simple when b becomes 0. because this B dot dl becomes 0. So what are the three conditions over which this Ampere circuital law becomes more simpler manner, more convenient to apply? Understand? Means the magnetic field B1, B2, B3, B4, B5 must be constant in magnitude. So for that, this curve has to be a symmetric curve. And the magnetic field must be tangential to the curve. That means the angle between dl bar and b bar must be 0. They must be in same direction. Then it is very easy to apply. Or in this case also it is more easy to apply. Or in this case also it is more easy to apply. So three ways, in three conditions, this Ampere circuital law is more clearly applicable. Now let us take this in detail now. So symmetric form of the Ampere's circuital law. So I will take one current carrying conductor. So let us remove all this. So only one current carrying conductor I will take. So this is a current carrying conductor. So over the current carrying conductor, I have to take one loop. Okay, I will take one loop over here. Symmetric loop only I will take. Circular loop I am taking. Circular loop. Yeah. Right. So if you view from top, how it will be means, this is a circular loop which I have considered, and I am considering one current carrying conductor, say like this inward. Let me take inward or outward. So okay, outward you take, no problem. So this is a current carrying wire. Instead of 3 wires, I have taken only 1 wire. And this curve, I have taken a symmetric. So this like this. This is outward and this is on the plane of board. Current carrying wire is outward like this. Current is flowing out of the board. And here the current carrying wire is on the board. That is the situation. This and this. This is a curve. This is a curve. Now observe, if you have a current carrying wire like this outward, then what will be the magnetic field here? Like this, isn't it? So I will take magnetic field here like this. Tangential, no? It is tangential, no? So this is a magnetic field over here. 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 Why is this magnetic field is constant in magnitude? Means because the distance is constant. That is the reason why. But it is acting tangential. So conditions are satisfying. And then I'll take dl bar here. I will take dl bar here like this. I will take dl bar here like this. I will take dl bar here like this. So I find dl bar and b bar are parallel. Similarly, dl bar and b bar are parallel. Dl bar and b bar are parallel. Dl bar and b bar are parallel. So it has become more symmetric now. So by doing it, so what happens is, this quantity integral b dot dl bar, what happens is, in all these cases, theta is taken as 0. Angle between b bar and dl bar is taken as 0. So this is magnitude of b into magnitude of dl into cos 0. So what does it become now? This is becoming, okay, integral b into dl into cos 0 is 1. Because the magnitude of b is constant, I can bring b out of integration. This b into dl. What is integral dl means? Dl plus dl plus dl plus dl plus dl plus dl plus dl. Length of this curve I can write there. So it is becoming more simple now. So this is the simplest form of applying Ampere's circuital law here. So one current carrying conductor if you take, then it is very easy. So the left hand side becomes more simple. What is right hand side means? Mu naught times the current. No need of giving any positive negative sign because only one current carrying conductor is there. No problem, just write that current here. So this quantity is equal to mu naught times I is known as Ampere's circuit law. So this quantity is also equal to work done in moving a unit north pole around the current carrying conductor. So same thing here also. This and this are same, and here the current is coming outward like this, current is going like this. This is a circular curve around the current carrying conductor. This is a circular curve around the current carrying conductors. So magnetic field here tangential, magnetic field here tangential, here tangential, here tangential. Okay, dl bar also in the same direction of magnetic field. So this and this are same here. So finally, what will you write? When we are applying Ampere's circuit law, we will be applying in the more simpler manner only. Over a higher degree of symmetry only we will be using Ampere's circuit law. It is very easy. Even in Gauss law also you will take symmetric surfaces only. No? If you have a thin wire, a charge is distributed on thin wire, you want to determine electric field here. What surface you will take here? Gaussian surface, no? Cylindrical surface. Is it symmetrical surface or not? Only one wire is there, but having charge. Similarly, you have a sphere having a charge over it. You want to determine electric field because the charge is distributed on the sphere. You will use Gauss law. What you will take a Gaussian surface passing through that surface. That is symmetric only. So you are taking even application of Gauss law only in symmetrical conditions. Here also we will take in symmetrical conditions. So let us apply this Ampere's circuit law in some situations so that it will be easy for you to understand more clearly. So that is one important question asked. And it's very simple question, but students will have doubt on that many times, right? So what I will tell is, the question is like this. There is an infinite wire. Current is flowing in this. So what I will tell is, you are taking a unit north pole, 1 ampere meter. Pole strength is measured in ampere meter, and whose strength is 1 is known as a unit north pole. Okay, and this unit north pole is moved around this, around the current carrying conductor. A north pole is moved. What is the work done? That is the question. What is the work done in moving a unit north pole around the current carrying wire? Unit north pole. The question is asked like that. So to answer that question, we will take this Ampere's circuit law. Write the statement of Ampere's circuit law. Closed integral over the curve B dot dl is equal to mu naught times the current inside. Fine. Let us see. Here, what is this B dot dl? I told the definition of the strength of the magnetic field is nothing but a force acting on unit positive charge. Unit north pole. So this is a force acting on unit north pole. So when I keep a unit north pole here, the force acting on that is nothing but B. And you have displaced through a small displacement dl. Therefore, in moving a unit north pole through a small displacement dl is equal to force into displacement. But force acting on unit north pole is B. So B into dl is nothing but a work done in moving a north pole through a distance dl. Now, what is integration of this? So if this is representing a dw, dw is equal to dot product of force and displacement. Force is nothing but a force acting on a unit north pole is called B. Okay, and integral of dw means what? Total work done. So therefore, this quantity, as I already told you, the work done in moving unit north pole around the curve, okay, that is nothing but integral B dot dl itself. So this is nothing but work done in unit north pole only, around the curve, around the current carrying conductor. What is your answer? According to Ampere circuit law, it is mu naught times I. So what is your answer? Mu naught times I. He will not give B and DL. He will give mu naught and current only. Then you have to calculate the work done. Okay, one more question I will give you here. What is that means? I am not taking unit north pole here now. So a north pole is taken whose strength is pi ampere meter. A north pole whose strength is pi ampere meter is moved around this current carrying wire. Find the work done. And suppose current is given as 10 amperes. Suppose this radius is given as 10 centimeters. Some data is given like that. Current is given, radius is given, pole strength, the north pole which you are moving around is also given. Then what is the work done in moving this unit? This north pole of strength pi ampere meters around this he want. Okay, I'll write a statement. This is B dot dl is mu naught times I. What is this B dot dl represents? Tell me. Work done in moving a unit north pole around the current carrying wire is nothing but B dot dl. For unit north pole, if you are doing this much work, right? For 2 units of north pole, you will be doing how much work? 2 times this. If I move around 3 units of north pole, the work done will be 3 times this, because this is the work done for moving a unit north pole around it. If I don't have a unit north pole, I have a 2 units north pole, then into 2 will be the work done. Similarly, if I make around a pi ampere meters, that means this is 3.14 ampere meter. It is not 1 ampere meter, 3.14 ampere meter. How much work is done? So work done in moving this around this is equal to work done in moving unit north pole around the current carrying conductor into pole strength. Because this is a work done per unit north pole only. But for m units of north pole, then into m you have to do. What is mu naught value? 4 pi into 10 to the power of minus 7. What is I? 10 amperes. What is the pole strength? Pi. So this is a work done in moving this north pole around the current carrying conductor. So this will be equal to, okay, I'll take pi square as 10 here. So this pi into pi is taken as 10. Already one more 10 is there. Already 10 power minus 7 is there. So this becomes now, I think 40 microjoules it is. So this is a work done in moving a north pole of strength pi ampere meter around it. So remember, this is a formula you have to take. If m is 1, work done per unit north pole is mu naught I. If m is 2, then into 2. Here 3.14, so 3.14 times. So this is simple. What you are doing is, whatever the pole strength is giving, that you are multiplying to this. That's it. That is the answer. But when you understand what is this quantity is nothing but work done in moving a unit north pole around it, that is equal to mu naught times. If you know that only, you will do this. Otherwise, you will not do this. But it's simple multiplication only. But this is asked in exam so many times. This is one way you apply Ampere circuit law. A question can be asked like this. Now, another way. So, before going to the other applications of this Ampere circuit law, let us prove this. The proof of Ampere circuit law. Fine? Let us do it. It is simple only. For that, I will take infinite long wire. Let the current flowing is I. Current flowing is I. So, at a distance R, let the magnetic field is B. You know, current carrying conductor produces magnetic field. Using Biot-Savart law, we have already determined that field. We know that strength. How much is that? B is equal to mu naught I by 2 pi R. R is a perpendicular distance, I is a current, B is the strength of the magnetic field. Of course, the magnetic field is inward. This is B value. You keep aside. This is already done with using Biot-Savart law. Let us come to Ampere circuit law. What is Ampere circuit law statement? Integral, the closed integral over the curve, closed curve, B bar dot dl is equal to mu naught times I is the statement. I want to prove this now. This is an infinite wire, that is a magnetic field. I want to prove this. So take LHS quantity. Most famous method is starting with LHS and ending with RHS. No, you will do in mathematics. So let me take LHS quantity. Integral B bar dot dl bar is what? I'll start with this and derive this. So for that, I will take one closed curve here. Because this is integration over a closed curve only, no? That is why. So I will take one curve like this. So I'll just modify this diagram like this. Yeah. I will take dl bar here. Let the strength of the magnetic field, I already determined this magnetic field strength is how much resistance R is B. And you know that B is tangential. I hope you know, just now I told the magnetic field is always along the curve. So everywhere it is tangential direction only. So magnetic field here also tangential, magnetic field here also tangential, magnetic field here also it is tangential. So they are also tangential. And dl bar is taken like this. In the direction of field only dl bar, tangential. And dl bar and B bar are parallel to each other. So I told no symmetric condition. The degree of symmetry, you have to make it more here in order to apply Ampere circuit law in easiest way. So now let us apply this. This is nothing but integral magnitude of B into magnitude of dl into cos 0 because they are along the tangent. This is nothing but integral B dot dl, B into dl, magnitude of B into magnitude of dl into cos 0 is 1. Here they are vectors, here they are magnitudes. Fine. But that magnetic field is how much? This. Let me substitute there. And one more point, I told over a symmetry, what we are saying, everywhere magnitude of the magnetic field is constant. Because this distance R is constant. In this formula, when R is constant, I is constant, B is also constant. No. So you have a constant magnetic field, but direction is changing, but magnitude is constant. So I can bring this B out of integration. And then I substitute B here, this. Right. So this is B integral dl. Okay. This is nothing but what is B and mu naught I by 2 pi r into integral dl, closed integral over the curve. What is this integral dl? Integration means summing up. So dl plus dl plus dl plus dl plus dl plus dl plus dl. Summing up of all dl's, I'll get the circumference of the curve that you have taken. So that is nothing but 2 pi r, no? Yes. That is the integral dl value. What is your answer now? Mu naught times I. Therefore, I am starting with LHS, ending with RHS. Hence, LHS is equal to RHS. So, this is a proof of Ampere's circuit law. So, now we'll go to the other applications, in which cases it is useful. See, it is very clear, Amma. In Gauss law, you will take dA bar here, elemental area. But you are taking elemental length. There, electric field. Here, magnetic field. Integral E bar dot dA bar. Here B bar dot dl bar. So that is why you have to take a curve here. There you will take a surface. E is mu naught times I. There 1 by epsilon times the charge inside. This is current inside. There charge inside. That is the similarity between Gauss law and Ampere circuit law. Where did you use Gauss law? See, if a charge is distributed, I cannot use a formula. What is strength of electric field formula? E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q by R square, no? That is coming from Coulomb's law only, no? That formula I cannot apply here. If suppose there is a 10 coulombs charge. So I kept a 10 coulombs charge here. Completely at one point I kept. Then you want electric field here. What formula you will apply? So because Q is equal to 10, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into 10, okay? Q by R square, no? So by R square, Q value you can write, R square value you can write. If it is given 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught value 9 into 10 to the power of 9, you will write and you find the strength of the field. Very good. If this 10 coulombs charge is distributed on the wire, then I cannot use this formula. What will you do? You will take, suppose you want to find electric field. This is also 10 coulombs charge only, but distributed on the wire. What you do? You apply Gauss law. Suppose you want electric field here. From here you have taken a Gaussian surface. And you apply Gauss law and you determine the strength of the field. For distributed charges, you are applying Gauss law. So here also some special purpose is there. We'll see now how we'll apply this. Where you cannot apply Biot-Savart law, we can apply Ampere-Circuital law. There also where you cannot apply Coulomb's law, there you are applying Gauss law. Finally, you want to determine electric field there. Finally, we want to determine magnetic field here. So let us take one case now. One derivation I am doing now. See, using Ampere-Circuital law. So basic understanding of the concept of this chapter is a current carrying wire or a current carrying conductor will produce magnetic field around it. So if you want to determine that magnetic field, I can apply Biot-Savart law. If it is not suitable, I'll apply Ampere-Circuital law. Okay? Right. So I have a hollow pipe. A hollow pipe is here for me. The current is flowing on the walls. So current is flowing on the walls of the hollow pipe. The current is flowing here. There is an empty space inside, like this. You have an empty space inside, isn't it? Here, like that. This is a hollow inside. Like that, an infinite pipe in which the current I is flowing in this. So finally, current is flowing on the surface of the pipe. That is called hollow conductor, infinite conductor only. And does it produce magnetic field or not? Yes. Current carrying conductor or a wire or whatever it is, then if you have a current in that, there will be a magnetic field in surrounding it. So in this type of situations where current is distributed over the surface and flowing, I cannot apply Biot-Savart law. For Biot-Savart law, you have to take an element dl, but this is a surface. Where will I take dl here? Am I right? So in such situations, this law is suitable for us. So I would like to determine this is the axis of this pipe. Axis is important for anything, whether though it is an empty space inside, axis is important. All distances measured from the axis only, always. You are there, you are here, you are here, you are here, then distance must be measured from axis only, okay? I would like to determine the magnetic field at this point due to this current carrying pipe. I am using the word pipe to make you understand. Right? Fine. So how? You cannot apply Biot-Savart law. I cannot take element dl. This is a surface. If it is a thin wire, then I can take dl and apply Biot-Savart law and integrate it. But this is a surface. No Biot-Savart law. Let us see now. So in order to apply Gauss law, what did you take? Gaussian surface. In order to apply Ampere-Circuital law, I have to take a curve. A curve around it. Symmetric curve only I will take. That curve is called Ampere's curve. Gaussian surface, Ampere's curve. So let me take a curve around this. Here I'll take I have to find. At a distance r from this pipe having current flowing on the walls, I would like to determine magnetic field. So let me take curve here. This imaginary curve. The curve is passing through the point. The curve is passing through the point where you are determining magnetic field. You want to determine magnetic field due to this current carrying pipe? Then take a curve around this. Around this. So if this is a pipe, here you want to determine magnetic field, I have taken a curve around it. Because I want to apply Ampere's circuit law. Fine. What is Ampere's circuit law? Statement. A closed integral. The circulation of magnetic field over the curve is equal to mu naught times the current inside. Suppose here is a curve. I am taking a curve passing through the point where I want to determine a magnetic field. So here I will take dl bar. Here. Over the curve I can take dl bar. Over the conductor I cannot take dl bar. Whereas in Biot-Savart law you will take dl bar on the wire only. Current carrying element you will take there. Isn't it? Due to that current element you are determining magnetic field dB there. But I cannot take a current carrying element here, dl. So dl is taken on the curve. Okay. So this is integral b dot dl means this is integral magnetic field over this point into the length of this element over this point, and angle between your magnetic field is always tangential and parallel to dl only. So into cos 0 is equal to mu naught times the current inside. I told him when you are taking a symmetric curve, this curve is symmetric. So everywhere the strength of the magnetic field is same, magnitude of the B is same. So I can take this out of this integration. Is equal to mu naught times the current inside. This is a curve, no. If this is a cylindrical pipe on which the current is flowing, you have taken a curve over this. What is current inside? This current only, no? So current inside is I itself. So what is this? B. What is integral dl? I already told him dl plus dl plus dl plus dl plus dl. Circumference of the circle 2 pi r is equal to mu naught times I. Therefore, what is the magnetic field at this point now? This is nothing but mu naught I by 2 pi r. This is similar to infinite wire only. This is infinite pipe. This is infinite wire. Both are same. I got it. I used Gauss law. Ampere's circuit law. Why it is so has come? Because you are finding the magnetic field outside the pipe on which surface the current is flowing. Current is flowing on the surface like this. On the surface. Though you have considered like that, it is behaving like as if the current is at the center. Like this, as if the current is on the wire. As if the current is passing through the axis. Like that it is behaving. Even in Gauss law also you get same thing. Charge is concentrated at the center, though it is on the sphere. It will come like that. So, therefore, finally, due to this current carrying hollow conductor, the magnetic field outside the conductor is same as the infinite wire mu naught I by 2 pi r. So, outside over. Now I will go inside now. I wanted to find magnetic field inside now. Inside this. So how will I find the magnetic field? Inside. So outside you got it. It is inversely proportional to R. So if I want to magnetic field inside, what you have to do is, suppose I want to find the magnetic field somewhere here. Inside the hollow conductor I want to find. I do one thing. So wherever you want to find magnetic field, from there you have to take a Ampere's curve. So I will take one curve over here. Imaginary curve. Imaginary surface. Symmetrical surface you will take. Passing to the point where you want to determine the magnetic field in the case of Gauss law. Here also an imaginary curve is taken. From the point where you want to determine a magnetic field. I would like to apply Ampere's circuit law. Integral B dot dl is mu naught times the current inside. Over the curve only, no, I have to take. So what I do is now, let the magnetic field here is B. If it is there, then let this element here is dl. Okay, so integral B dot dl means B into dl into cos 0. That is equal to mu naught times current inside. There is no current inside, current is outside. See, when a current is flowing on the surface, there is no current inside, no? So current inside is 0. So therefore this quantity becomes 0. So the magnetic field also becomes 0. So there is no magnetic field inside this hollow conductor. Magnetic field starts from the surface, and outside the surface of this current carrying hollow conductor will be this, outside this, and inside it is 0. That is what I conclude here. Even in the hollow sphere, do you remember in Gauss law, if you have a hollow sphere, charge is distributed on the sphere, and outside that sphere the electric field is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square only. But when you apply Gauss law inside the sphere, because charge inside is 0, electric field inside the hollow sphere is again 0. Similar manner here also. So if you draw the graph, then what do I get? So I will take the magnetic field on y-axis and the distance on x-axis. Always r, this is only r here. Always wherever you are determining the magnetic field, okay, and at that point from the axis distance is r. So small r is always variable. Small r is always variable distance. The small r is greater than capital R. Let us take capital R is the radius of the pipe. If small r is greater than capital R, you will go outside. If small r is equal to capital R, you will lie on the surface. If small r is less than capital R, you will go into the surface. If small r is equal to 0, you will go to the center. So like that, always small r is measured from the axis only, distance. Understand? Wherever you want to determine. That is why distance is taken on x-axis. Now small r varies from 0 to capital R. Inside there is no magnetic field. Right. So this is a point where small r is equal to capital R. And this is a length where our small r is less than capital R. And here is a length, small r is greater than capital R. Like that. But there is no magnetic field inside this. So magnetic field starts from surface only, and that too it will go inversely proportional to r after that. So therefore I can write a magnetic field like this. This will be the graph. So the magnetic field due to this current carrying hollow pipe will start from the surface, and from the surface, and there it is inversely proportional to r as you go away from this pipe. So therefore here the magnetic field is inversely proportional to the distance from the surface, whereas inside the surface the magnetic field is 0. There is no magnetic field existing. This will be the graph regarding the hollow pipe. If I take a solid conductor, the problem comes here. This is very, very important. In Gauss law also you have taken a solid sphere. Charge is distributed throughout the sphere, and you have determined the electric field inside the sphere, outside the sphere, isn't it? Similarly here also, it's a solid conductor. Current is flowing throughout. Then how to determine the magnetic field? So what I am doing now, I am taking a solid this is a solid, this is a solid. There is no empty space inside. It's a solid, thick conductor in which the current I is flowing. Current I is flowing throughout this. So current will be flowing like this. This everything put together I. Don't say I here, okay? This everything current I is flowing inside through this surface. Like that the current is flowing. This I is, this total current is I. So it is, but I am saying that at every point current is flowing through this solid conductor. Then what you have to do? And always you have to draw an axis. Axis is important always. This is axis. I wanted to determine the electric field outside the axis. I mean outside this thick conductor and inside the conductor also. I want to determine the magnetic field due to this current carrying thick conductor. Okay. If you want the magnetic field at this point, let us say you want a magnetic field at this point due to this current carrying thick conductor. What you have to do first? So I have to take Ampere's curve around this, symmetric curve I will take around this, so that the magnetic field is same in magnitude everywhere because you are at equidistance. And on the curve I will take dl and I'll apply Ampere's circuit law. That is what I did in the previous case also. So I have to take one curve around this. Okay, curve like this. I have taken a curve. So this is a curve around this thick conductor. Here is a dl I am taking. That means I can draw one more figure for you. This cross section I am drawing here. And current is flowing throughout this. So I can draw a cross section here also. This is, and current is flowing like this. So this part is this. So if I take a circle here and if circle is kept here like this, it looks like this. So this is a current flowing, this is a current flowing like this. And I want a magnetic field somewhere here. I want a magnetic field somewhere here. Outside this conductor. Outside this conductor. So I will take one Ampere's curve like this. This is an Ampere's curve. Ampere's curve must pass through the point where you want to determine a magnetic field. So this is an Ampere curve passing through the point where you want to determine a magnetic field. So I will take now one dl here. dl. So this is outward current now, dl. Magnetic field B bar is like this. The B bar is like this. And dl bar is also like this. in same direction. Degree of symmetry is maintained maximum. So write the statement now. Integral B dot dl is nothing but mu naught times the current inside. Mu naught times the current inside. So the magnetic field at this point into dl, because dl bar and b bar are parallel, I write just b into dl. Mu naught times the current inside. See, inside this curve, this is the total current. So inside this curve, this is the total current I. So I only I will take now, because this is current inside is I only. Anyhow, this magnitude of B is constant everywhere, because this is a symmetrical curve we have taken. Ampere's curve is symmetric. So therefore B will come out of integration. So B is B into, what is integral dl and d? Dl plus dl plus dl plus dl, because this distance is small r. Okay, small r is greater than capital R. Small r is greater than capital R. So capital R is always the radius of the conductor. Small r is always distance. So I'll be taking a distance now. This distance is small r here. Okay. So integral dl is nothing but 2 pi into small r is equal to mu naught times the current inside. Therefore, what is the magnetic field you got? Mu naught I by 2 pi r. Oh, again infinite formula only. A current carrying wire, infinite wire, the magnetic field at some distance is given by mu naught I by 2 pi r. Yes or no? Yes. That means that magnetic field here is given by this relation as if the current is flowing at axis. That is the meaning of that. So this formula is simple because this is frequently repeated. The problem comes only when you go inside now. Let us see what happens inside. I'll erase this, okay? I'll take the magnetic field inside. So outside over, that means if this is a cross section, see, if this is a cross section, this is a cross section. You have taken a point outside, I have taken a point outside. Now I'll go inside. Here I want magnetic field. Inside the conductor I want magnetic field. So I want a magnetic field here now. Here. That is inside. Now small r. This is again small r only. But small r is less than capital R. So if you want to find a magnetic field over here inside the conductor, that means if you want to find a magnetic field over here inside the conductor, I have to take Ampere's curve. So here is an Ampere's curve. So here is an Ampere's curve. So take a small, here I want to determine a magnetic field, B. And magnetic field will be tangential. dl bar also tangential. Here also magnetic field is tangential. dl bar also tangential. Of course, that is followed everywhere. Now I write Ampere circuit law at this point. Integral magnetic field at this point into dl at that point, b magnitude of b into magnitude of dl into cos 0, okay, is mu naught times the current inside. These steps are always common. B is constant everywhere. So B is constant everywhere here. So B will come out of integration. Integral dl is 2 pi r because this is small r. Integral dl is 2 pi r. That is 2 pi r. That part is no confusion. Mu naught is also no confusion. Confusion comes only in the current inside. What is the current inside? So I have to take only this current. So only this current I have to take, not that outside, because this is a point now. Outside one I will not take, only inside current only I will take. That means I will take only this current. Now the problem comes, how to find that current inside? How much current is flowing here? Through this total conductor, current I is flowing. Through this whole cross section. Through this cross section, small cross section, how much current is flowing? That is called current inside. So here a question of current density comes. In current electricity you have studied. What is current density? Tell me. current density J is equal to current divided by area. Area means pi r square. So suppose if I take this area here and this total current here, so current per unit area is defined as current density J. Fine. This is also equal to I will take this current and this area I will take, no problem. So the current inside divided pi into small r square. So if I take this current or if I take this current, that area only I will take there. If I take this total area and total current, this is also current per unit area, this is also current per unit area, and that is called current density. So current density is uniform here, constant. That is why you can write like that. Now from this relation, I can find out the current inside this cross section, that is inside this. How much is that current inside now? Tell me. Current inside, pi will get cancelled, amma. That is I into small r square by capital R square. That is current inside. Now I will come to this one. So this is as usual, and B will come out of integration. Integral of dl is 2 pi into small r, this length 2 pi into small r, and that is equal to mu naught times the current inside. Current inside is this. This is I into small r square divided by capital R square. So now one of the r gets cancelled. Then this 2 pi will go to the denominator. So the magnetic field at this point inside the pipe, inside the thick conductor, magnetic field at this point inside this thick pipe is given by B is equal to mu naught I by 2 pi divided by r square into small r. Observe. Small r, capital R is a radius, that is constant. I is constant, mu naught and 2 pi are constant. Only small r is called distance. Distance from here. This cross section I am showing here like this. So directly proportional to distance. So inside the pipe, inside the thick conductor, the magnetic field is directly proportional to distance. But outside it is inversely proportional to distance. So how will be the graph now? So let me draw the graph here. This is on y-axis. I will take magnetic field, and on x-axis I will take distance. I told you small r is always from center to any point. If small r equal to r, you will be on the surface. If small r is greater than r, you will be going outside the surface. If small r is less than capital R, you will be inside the conductor. So I will take a point where small r is equal to capital R. That means this length is equal to radius. And here inside small r is less than capital R. After that small r is greater than capital R. How is the magnetic field now? Now inside this, the magnetic field is directly proportional to distance r. So it will be straight line like this. Okay. And outside I already got formula mu naught I by 2 pi r. It is inversely proportional to distance. So here is B directly proportional to R. Here B is inversely proportional to R. So that is how the magnetic field will be varying as we move from axis to the point outside. In this way the magnetic field will be varying. So this is how we are applying see inside the thick conductor magnetic field in which the current is flowing. I can able to determine the magnetic field here. Understand? So in this way we are applying Ampere's circuit law and determining the magnetic fields in different situations like this. So if this is variable, See, current density constant I have taken. No? What did I write? J is equal to I divided by total area. Then I inside divided by this area. How did I take like that? Because current density is constant. If current density is variable, then you have to do integration. Okay, just take down this. So here I am taking one question whose current density is varying. So what is the meaning of this? In advanced exams, this type of questions are possible. So what is this current density varying means what? See, for example, current density, there is a question like this. The current density is directly proportional to small r inside the conductor, where J naught is constant. If current density is varying according to this equation, then find the magnetic field inside the conductor at some point at a distance small r. Find the magnetic field. Same question what I did just now previously, but only thing is this current density is not constant. I want magnetic field here. This is a current flowing like this. This cross section is this. Okay. This cross section is shown here. Or this cross section is shown here. You can find magnetic field here or here. Anything. Okay, let me find magnetic field there only. Then this cross section is this. So what is the meaning of the J is equal to J naught R? Let me explain for you first. Suppose if I take some unit area here, some unit area. So the current flowing here is this. The amount, the current per unit area is called J. Suppose if I take unit area here little bit far, then current flowing will be more. As I am going away from this axis, more current is flowing. Therefore, at the axis, current will be zero. Current will be zero. What is this? Small r and d. Small r is always distance from center. This is a small r. This is a small r. This is a small r. See, small r is 0. That is distance r becomes 0. Then current density becomes 0. Then current also becomes 0. But as you go away from center, the current is go on increasing. For example, if I take unit area here, if this is a current, if I take unit area here, more current is flowing per unit area here. So the current per unit area is increasing as R is increasing. That is the meaning of this. Current per unit area is increasing as R is increasing. So if this cross section is this, if this center is this, now I will take some unit area here. The current will be coming outward like this, no? Yes. You know current will be flowing like this here. It will be coming like this here if I take this one. So the current coming outward like this. If I take unit area here, the current coming outward will be more. That means current per unit area, that is J, is increasing as R is increasing. That is J is directly proportional to R. So this is the meaning of current density varying, because current density is current per unit area. Because I have to use integration, I can write this as di by dA also. Current density. And this current density is varying. It is not constant. So from this equation, what is di now? So di is equal to J into dA. And this J is a variable. So, and that is given by J naught R. So this is the situation now. If you observe this, if you want to apply Ampere circuit law, B dot dl is equal to mu naught times current inside, he is not at all talking about current. This current is not given, flowing like that. He has given only current density and current is not given. So first let me find the current in this pipe, thick conductor. Then I can find current inside if I have an expression. So what I will do here now, if you want the current inside this, because that is not given, I have to use this relation only. So I will take one small, but let me remove this part to make you understand current density varying. I have drawn this. Here also I'll remove this. So I will be taking at a distance r, I'll be taking this is an elemental circle whose thickness is dr, like this. That means I'll be taking one part over here at a distance r whose thickness is dr. The current flowing in this is dim. So current is flowing here like this through this elemental area what we have taken. Okay, this current is di. So the current flowing in this outward is di. Fine. So you have to imagine like this. What am I doing? And I am trying to find the current now. The current inside, because I want a magnetic field here. And that means I want a magnetic field here. So I want current inside, no? So I want current inside this. That is the reason. So first let me find how much current is flowing inside this cross section. So here how much current is flowing inside this. For that I am doing this. So this relation I am taking, di is equal to j into dA. J into dA. So this is di is equal to, what is j and d? J naught r. J naught is a constant and r is a distance, into dA. What is dA? I have already told you current flowing in this strip is di. Current flowing in this strip is di. So current flowing in this strip is di. Then what is dA means? The area of the strip only. So if you cut this strip and make straight, I'll be getting like this. This thickness will be dr, this length will be 2 pi r. The length will be 2 pi r, the thickness will be dr. And area of this strip is dA, length into breadth. That is 2 pi r into dr. So therefore in the place of d I have to substitute this 2 pi r into dr. Therefore the current coming out through this strip or current flowing through this strip di is equal to this. Current density into area of that strip. This is. So now I want this total current. That means I want this total current. So integrate on both sides. So current inside means the current that is flowing inside this. That means the current that is flowing inside this smaller area. So that is called current inside. That is nothing but integral of di. That is nothing but integral of this. This is 2 pi j naught. Integral of 2 pi j naught r square dr. Limits r is equal to 0 to r is equal to small r. 0 to small r only. Therefore the current inside is equal to 2 pi j naught r constant. 2 pi j naught is constant. Integral of r square dr is nothing but r cube by 3. R cube by 3. So this is the current inside the area of radius smaller. So what did I determine means, inside this cross section how much current is flowing I determined. Inside this cross section how much current is flowing I have determined. That is what I did. Now I'll find magnetic field here. Now I'll find magnetic field here, in which the current density is varying according to this equation. So I will use Ampere's circuit law. In order to apply Ampere's circuit law, I have to take a curve, Ampere's curve, through the point where you are determining a magnetic field. I have to take an Ampere's curve through the point where you want to determine a magnetic field. On that curve, I will be taking dl. So what is that? Integral b dot dl is equal to mu naught times the current inside. Alright? Yes. Because I want to determine a magnetic field here, I am taking this curve passing through that here, this curve. So same story, here it won't change, b into 2 pi r only it is. Here mu naught also won't change, only current inside will be substituted there. So 2 pi into j naught into r cube by 3. So what is b now? So anyhow this 2 pi and 2 pi gets cancelled, and 1 r is also getting cancelled as r square times. Therefore the magnetic field at this point is determined as mu naught into j naught into r square by 3. So this everything is constant. The magnetic field is directly proportional to r square inside this. See, why you have got so result? So therefore what you determined is magnetic field here at a distance from r from the axis. Okay, where j naught will be given here, right? And the magnetic field at this point we have determined here. Mu naught into j naught into r square by 3, you will get the answer. So at this point I determined magnetic field. Why did I get r square? Actually I got directly proportional to r in previous case. There this j was constant, but here the j is variable. That is why you got directly proportional to r square. So in this the current density is varying. So we can apply Ampere's circuit law in different cases like this. Okay. So try to understand and apply Ampere's circuit law in all the cases. Thank you.